All right, so we talked about how soon you have to change your class schedule. Why would you have to change your class schedule? Well, you might have a teacher who sucks. How do you make sure that doesn't happen? Before we talk about why they suck or how they suck or what you can do about it if they suck, how can you avoid having a teacher who sucks? Obviously, you want good teachers. So, what do you already know to do? I will pause here so you can actually answer that question. Here are a couple of things you can do. You want to find out in advance before you sign up for the class what the teacher's going to be like. How can you do that? One of the most common ways is ratemyprofessor.com. There was a high school one called Rate My Teacher. This is the same thing but for college. How many of you used ratemyprofessor.com? I haven't looked at me in a while, so I don't know if I'm any good or not. If you wanted this class schedule, you didn't have any choice because I'm the only one teaching this mini-mester this term. But if you have a class like ENC 1101, there are a lot of people teaching that class, and you want to make sure you take a good instructor. Rate My Professor is fairly useful because it gives a number rating, but also descriptions. I encourage you to look at that. I also encourage you to use it and go in and rate your professors. Don't just look at the number rating, though. Also, read the comments. When I was going into my sophomore year, one of my roommates said, I have this professor that I hate. He is just my least favorite professor, but you should totally take his class. And he was right. I loved that class. It was a sociology class. And the reason was that Stevie wanted a teacher to be one way, and I wanted a teacher to be a different way. And the professor was like that, not like this. So he was bad for him, but good for me. That often happens. Think back, who were your favorite teachers? They probably weren't everybody's favorite teachers. So read why people like or dislike a particular instructor. I talk a lot, and I assign a lot of little keep up with them assignments. If you're willing to come to class every day and do all the assignments, it's not a hard class to get a good grade in. But if you're the sort of student who hates to do work and you want one big project instead, this isn't going to be the class for you. I think that I'm one of the best instructors some students have ever had, and probably one of the worst instructors other students have ever had. But I think that's true for pretty much everybody. So rate my professor, but use that with a grain of salt. What else can you do? You can talk to other students who have taken the class. You can talk to advisors here at TCC. In orientation, if you signed up in orientation, they don't have a lot of time, so you probably didn't get the chance to have a conversation with them about what you want. But talking to other students, especially if you're veteran TCC students, you get to know each other, you can talk about that. You might also go talk to the instructor in advance. Not very many people do this, and you may not be able to get a very good sense of what they're like. But I'll bet if you went and knocked on their door and said, hey, I'm thinking about taking your class, could you tell me a little bit about it? And they said, I don't have time for you, go away. Then you'd know right away, like, that's one kind of suck teacher. So you can maybe not get an answer yes, but you could probably get an answer no pretty easily by going to talk to them. It's probably better for most students to take a class with a good professor than it is to take a class at a good time. But most students sign up for classes based on the time. That's setting yourself up for having a harder time of class. If you want class at 10 o'clock, but the 10 o'clock teacher is terrible, you might be better off taking it at 9 o'clock or taking it at noon or taking it at 2:30 in the afternoon with a good professor. A good professor makes you want to do the work, makes the class engaging, keeps you interested while you're there. So even if it is at a bad time, the class will probably go better for you.